The delivery driver left my front door open, and I thought it was just a mistake. Then I noticed something that didn't belong there. Then I saw a name I'd never seen before, and somehow, it was inside my house. And that's when I realized my wife had a life I knew absolutely nothing about.
Claire wasn't home. She had texted me earlier. Still at work, I'll be late. I called her, no answer. I looked at the keys again. There was only one locked door in our house, the storage room at the end of the hallway. Claire always told me it was full of old work files. I had never cared enough to check. That afternoon, I did. The key turned. I opened the door. It wasn't a storage room. It was a child's bedroom. A small bed, toys, school books, photographs. I picked one up. Claire was standing beside a man I'd never seen before. Between them was the little boy from the backpack, Evan. I grabbed another photograph, then another. They weren't old. The newest one was taken 6 weeks earlier. Claire was holding Evan. The man had his arm around her. On the back were 3 words, "Our little family." I sat on the bed. My first thought was simple. Who is this man? Then I looked closer at his face, and my stomach dropped. He looked remarkably like me. Inside the room, I found a stack of envelopes addressed to Rachel Miller. One was from Evan's school. Emergency contacts Rachel Miller and Daniel Carter. Carter was my last name. I searched the name and found a property record. Daniel Carter owned a house about 40 minutes away. I looked at the photographs again. The man beside Claire was Daniel. And suddenly I understood. My wife had another life. My phone buzzed. Claire. Everything okay at home? I stared at the message. She knew I was home. She knew the delivery had arrived. I replied, "Yeah, everything's fine." That was the first lie I'd ever told my wife. That night, Claire came home around 11. I pretended to be asleep. I heard her open the locked room. Then she came into our bedroom, kissed my forehead and whispered, "Love you." I kept my eyes closed. The next morning, I checked our joint bank account, and that's when I found something worse. Every month, Claire had been transferring thousands of dollars to another account. Mortgage payments, school fees, groceries, medical expenses, all connected to that second house. Over 2 years, more than $90,000 had gone there. Our money. Then I found another account. Almost $180,000. The account belonged to Rachel Miller, and Claire had been depositing money into it. I kept scrolling. Then I found a life insurance policy. The beneficiary wasn't me. It was Rachel. The policy had been updated 3 months after our wedding. I sat there staring at the screen. This wasn't an affair. This was a second life. And I suddenly needed to know whether Rachel knew about me. So I drove to her house. Rachel opened the door carrying a laundry basket. She looked completely ordinary. A little boy ran past her, Evan. I looked at Rachel and said, "My name is Ethan Carter." She looked at my wedding ring, then at me. "Who are you?" I took a breath. "I'm Claire's husband." Rachel went completely still. Then she whispered, "Daniel isn't married." I showed her a photograph. Her face changed. She invited me inside. For the next hour, she showed me everything. Daniel had told her he was single. He told her his previous relationship had ended years ago. He told her he wanted to marry her. Then she showed me something that made everything even worse. A wedding invitation. Their wedding, 6 weeks away. Rachel looked at me and said, "He's going to marry me." I nodded, and he's already married to me. Neither of us spoke. Then Rachel opened another folder, and we discovered the real plan. Daniel wasn't just maintaining 2 relationships. He was preparing to disappear. There were property documents, bank records, a real estate agreement. He had plans to sell our house after our anniversary. The money would be transferred into an account he controlled. Then he'd move into the second house with Rachel. He wasn't choosing between us. He was planning to take money from both of us and start over. I looked at Rachel. She wanted to call him immediately. I told her, "Don't." She looked confused. I said, "Let him think we still don't know." That night, Claire came home. She smiled at me, then casually said, "Maybe we should sell the house." I looked at her. For the first time, I saw exactly who she was. I smiled back. "Maybe you're right." The next morning, I met with a lawyer. I protected the house, secured my accounts, copied every document. Rachel did the same. We didn't need revenge. We needed proof. 3 days later, Claire came home early. She walked into the kitchen, then stopped. Rachel was sitting at the table. I was beside her. Claire's face went completely white. "Ethan," I said, "sit down." She started crying. She said she could explain. She said Daniel was someone from her past. I put the folder on the table. Inside were the photographs, bank records, the second house, the insurance policy, the wedding invitation, and the emails. Rachel looked at Claire. "You were going to marry my husband in 6 weeks." Claire couldn't answer. Then she looked at me, and, "I love you both." I shook my head. "No, Claire. You loved having 2 lives." For once, she had nothing to say. The divorce took months. There were lawyers, financial investigations, and more lies than I cared to remember. Rachel ended her relationship with Daniel, too. We didn't become best friends. We didn't need to. We simply understood what the other person had been through. And Evan? He was innocent. He didn't deserve to pay for the adults' decisions. Eventually, I changed the locks on my house. Not because I was afraid Claire would come back, because I wanted the house to feel like mine again. Sometimes I still think about that delivery driver. If he'd closed my door that afternoon, I might have spent another 10 years believing I knew my wife. He thought he was delivering groceries. He had no idea. He was delivering the truth to my front door. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Veiled Verdict Stories for more heart-touching stories. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.